Hello, and welcome to PlebPla. Boxes! Yes, hello, and indeed, welcome to PlebPla. Today I was a bit inspired by a video here and there, a couple of posts, and just generally being bored at work, and decided I'm going to try my hand at some actual reviews, not just blathering on about, oh, look at the stuff that I finished, but a real, review. But what I don't see many reviews of are SD kits. Now, as I said, I was inspired by one, and I will go ahead and link him in the description below. One of our own PlebPla members with his own channel recently did a review on what's going to be the second in the slot. I've ordered this glorious pile of boxes over here by the printed on production date, one of which I don't actually believe, and I do need to go ahead and fact check that, which I will drop in the flashing pictures that I like to do all across the bottom. The name slates. So starting with the oldest SD that I personally own was something that I picked up in a blind bag at 8Con 2016. This is the BB Senshi Musha Gundam Mark II. It reads number 24 on the box here. I will make sure to zoom in so everybody can see this. The Musha Gundam Mark II. This old man right here is a very simple and plain build. These are gold-plated parts. So if you're not careful with them, you can scratch the gold off of them. This right here is an accessory, not an accessory base, but rather something that I see in most SDs in certain sets like to have. The BB Senshi and what is basically both the Sengoku and the Sangoku sets. They like to come with the gimmick. They have to give you a little more than just, your basic SDs. You can disassemble the armor from the Mark II, attach it to this little birdman here, and what you basically get is a naked Mark II with the flying sleds. I can't recall what they're... Not the Wave Rider, because that's the Zeta Gundam, but no such thing. The flying sleds. But I'm going to keep this boy out for just a moment. This here, according to the box, was produced in 1989. The 24th BB Senshi SD. This boy over here this here, still with all the stickers from when I first originally purchased it some, almost 10 years ago now. This is apparently number 1 in the SxDxG Generation 0 line, the RX-93 Nu Gundam. In the hangar bay below, I'll go ahead and post a link to our friend's review here. And repeat his words, this shit sucks. There's his foot over there that came off as I lifted it off the table. The hands. No. Whereas this, produced and surely made in 1989, not only has articulation in the hands, but it has polycaps. Polycaps, they both come with the same spring-loaded function that if I were to push this in, and you know what, I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, can I? Yes? No? I'm going to lose this to the void. I saw a word. Shoots projectiles. They're a little... from its little bazooka. It's a little lengthwise pellet, whereas the Nu Gundam shoots balls that roll off into the void. Goodbye, lost forever. I keep them all in the box I don't even put the bazooka on its hand. It's got the beam rifle. It fell apart in my hands. This boy, 10 years older. So we're gonna go ahead and move these boxes aside right here. I'm going to give. Oh wait, no, it does have a polycap. It's just still a piece of shit. There's the other foot. It has polycaps. Both foots fell off. Go over there. You're going back in the box when I'm done with you. It doesn't even go on my shelves. This guy at least, you know, has its place. And if you balance him right, he can kind of stand on this little bird boy. It's so difficult I stopped standing on it. How long will it take for me to balance him on here? Timer start. I jammed this foot between the ears. Why didn't I do that before? Alright, where did he was here. He was here. Go back in your position amongst all of your good friends. Thank you. So, next, produced in 1997. I've sworn I just saw the number on here. Number 171 of probably more BB Senshi. Yep, there's the BB Senshi logo right there. The Guren Gundam, which I also picked up at last year's A-Con, not out of the wild. What I saw when I got this... That's not the Guren Gundam, I'm an idiot. We're leaving it in. It's hilarious. The Guren Gundam is further down. This, I actually picked up at a local hobby shop, Hobby Town, and it had two other BB Senshi kits. This was just the cooler of the two. This, here, in front of the box, is the Tekki Musha Master Zeta Gundam, produced in 1997. I picked this up at a local hobby shop, I just said that, and I totally didn't leave it in a different room. This, I just finished building not too long ago, this past weekend during Heatwave, and grabbed it because of this really cool, actually working, let me turn that around, actually working monkey wrench. It actually has a grip on it that works. And also, much like the other two SDs, has a, where's the pedal at? Launcher function. However, it doesn't come with any active projectiles, which I will probably forget to pick up off the floor. Its headdress here, if I can get it to come off without breaking it. There we go. That's the ticket. The headdress and the shoulder pads, also in the gold-plated plastic. Be careful, they are not undergated. Will launch your boys along the floor. There you go. I think that's pretty neat, but it's still a giant wrench. Here on its very ornate halberd, it says something in Japanese. I'll make sure to be zoomed in during this dialogue here. It certainly says a thing, but it was neat enough that I grabbed it off the shelf. As SDs are, they're pretty cheap. It's still fairly articulated. The feet, they do their thing. They're little nubs. The arms are not separately articulated, but it does have this armor piece here moves on the side. The wing parts come off. It has a full transformation unit. Unlike the Musha, the helmet does not come off to reveal, a bald head. It's not that neat. It's not that, it's not that line. I do stand on one, I do apologize. It has a transformation which, as its namesake, the Zeta Gundam, is very much like a Wave Rider. And like all Musha kits, it comes, as part of an ongoing comic that I figure you only get if you get every one of these in the line. Like, you get, episode 171 here, and 172 has the next 7 or 8 panels, so on and so forth. What I appreciate from where I buy a lot of my online Gunpla, Hobby Search has scans of every kit that they sell. Guess who's missing from their database? It's very strange. But with that, we're going to put this boy over here, taking the place of the trashy Nu Gundam, and have your headpiece back. Hang out right there. Have a nice day. Next up, a more practical and traditional SD, purchased at the same time as the Nu Gundam, G Generation Neo, number 239, the GF13017 New Japan. I'm a wrestling fan, can you tell? Neo Japan Shining Gundam. This boy right here. Far more made in 2002. By the looks of things, this became a more standardized. I'm gonna pull this box over here. A more standardized look for SDs. Shoulder parts aren't. The shoulder armor does as it should. For some reason, the feet. You can pop off the tip and extend those out another peg. I don't remember the Shining Gundam having extended feet. Comes with an alternate set of hands as well as a larger hand for the gripping. The arm pieces do have different settings and molds. The face does fully close. I like to keep it open. I feel like I had broken one of these at some juncture. Ah, yes, I found many moons ago. I broke this V fin here, but it's long since been repaired. Twice. It's broken twice. The backpack does not come off to do anything, but it does. It is articulated, which is very cool. I am a big fan of G Gundam, as you may know, and way back, you know, some Acon 11, 12, 10 years ago time frame. This is when I picked this boy up along with the Nu Gundam, and it took me, a good 3 years to dig it out of, like, not storage, just a pile that I'd forgotten about. I dumped it inside of my Musha Gundam box, forgot about it. We'll never get to tell that story again. But it's well articulated. It's got all polycaps. It's got extra leg pieces here and there. What? This is very unusual. I'm noticing that the side skirts are... Oh! The legs are not attached to the waist. They're attached to the side skirts. That's like... You can actually get some posability out of that. That's really cool that I just discovered actually trying to do reviews and talking about my collection. Very hype. Most hype indeed. Back over into your place. Onto the floor. Next up we get into more modern sized boxes. What I'm going to do here is actually open this box up because I can't hold sideways. This is the Ryofu Tallgeese. There's another word in there. It is a Ryofu Tallgeese that comes with a bunch of things. There's this large gentleman right over here. The largest SD I have. Clear parts, of course. With the... this is purple chrome plating. There is a few gold pieces here. Somewhere inside the horse as well. A whole lot of decals came on this. It was like, a decal sheet the size of one of the pages to build from. The reason why I keep the rest of this here is it is part of a set that I broke. So that's... Oh wait, no, that's not the part that I broke. But I digress. I did break a piece of it. This here and this here are additional pieces meant for other SDs in the Three Kingdoms set. Ryofu Tallgeese is the Chinese translated, or the proper name for... No, Ryofu is the Japanese name for the Chinese character Lubu. I'll get there eventually, because I did watch Iki Tosen as well. This is Ryofu Tallgeese. These other parts that I just put away are for Ryubi, Liu Bei, and I think Guan Yu as well, or perhaps Sun Jian. I don't recall, I can't read it. But it is here on the side of the box. It shows a few pictures of, I'll even slap this on camera if I can't get a good shot on this. It shows a few pictures of the other models in the set. While on this side of the box, it shows our horse friend here that also transforms into a motorcycle. I don't have room on my shelf for the motorcycle form, so I do keep it in horse. And I managed to pick this up at a convention. Finding SDs, especially clear parts SDs, are rather rare. And this isn't even like a limited edition kind of thing. This is a regular release, right here on the box. Clear color edition. It's just, that's like just a more rare release. Like, you know, open up a pack of magic cards and oh look, you got 2 rares instead of 1. It happens. It's out there in the wild. Just anyway, now to the one that I mentioned earlier, number 189 in the BB Senshi set. Number 9 in this particular set, because I think they started breaking them down at a point, is the Guren Gundam, which I picked up thinking, okay, most Musha, most SD Gundams of this nature have a basis on another mobile suit somewhere in the timeline. And, you know, this is the Mark II, you know, this is Lulu. This is the Tallgeese, excuse me, I spaced out there, so the Zeta Gundam. I thought that this was at least based on the heavy arms. I can't find any writing that proves it or disproves it because I can't read Japanese. This little boy right here, produced in 2010, this SD caught my eye. You know, at the same convention that I got the Musha Mark II in a blind box. As you can see, I'm rotating this part here, and then that part also closes. So even though it's called Guren and not Heavy Arms Mark XYZ, it's got enough extra weaponry going on. It's got cannons that plug into the hands, they hold onto the backpack as well. It's just... I wanted it immediately. Oh, and then the chest piece as well exposes more guns. This, however, does, as I recall, I think there's a headpiece in there somewhere, come with the gimmick of removing the helmet. I don't think this attaches anywhere else. But I grew up a big fan of the heavy arms, so anything with expanding in multiple guns, and just yes, I'm not telling stories here, I'm doing a review. Stories are for a different video. So, it's got, it goes back to very simple articulation, polycaps with the arms only going up and down. This shoulder just slips right on, so you can take it off like many Musha Gundams and, you know, just make it naked. No armor on it. The big gimmick here is where you see over here, it's got this. The Musha Tekki has really colorful decals on it, and that's really your color separation, is all on your decals. This here has gradient decals. Those go from blue to silver flawlessly. Over here on the shoulder, you've got the, you know, the layered scaled plating. That's red and orange. As well as, let's see how, yeah, that's, we'll see how well I can show it on camera by holding it out here. This is a clear yellow with that like sparkly injected gloss kind of going on with it. It's a plastic that it's a style that I've seen with the Clear Parts F91 that I have. I'm going to jam your helmet back on there, fanboy. And put your chest piece back. And put your shoulders back on because you're going back to the lineup. Unfortunately, that brings to an end of all the more obscure, non-popular. Those aren't words that I like. It's not obscure. It's not unpopular. It's certainly more rare, I can at least say that much. But I think the term I'm looking for here is non-build fighters related SDs. Next, and I'm only showing 2 of my 3 boxes. I keep all my boxes. The other boxes have the extra parts in here. Is the Snibo Drago Gira SD Gundam set. These 3 boys, as soon as I saw them in the show, as most people do when they watch Build Fighters and its subsidiaries, that has to have a kit. That is too unique. That's not just a recolor of the Spiegel or the Age 1 or whomever. That is its own unique design, not based too much on anything else. That it has to have a kit. Not only does it have to have a kit, it has to do the thing. On the side of the box here, you'll see each of the 3 individual ones. 1, 2, 3, and then over here is the dragon form that they all combine into. When I first purchased this, I was led to believe that there were enough parts, given it's an SD, that you could build all 3 in one box. Obviously I was wrong. I did get 3 because I wanted to build the dragon. Now, if you go to the wiki page and look at each one of these boys, the claw, the shoulder, or rather the pile driver, and the gun boy all have individual names, and I don't know which one is which. It's fine. But not only do I tell them apart because I gave them different facing eyes, their chest plates are also slightly different. But it comes with enough parts that no matter the chest plate, no matter which one you want to make, you have the parts, you have the stickers, you have everything you need to make one kit into all 3 of them. You just don't have enough parts to make the big angry dragon. These boys were produced in our ancient year of 2015, which is a running thing to a point. We're going to shuffle y'all back in position. Get back in the lineup. And as you may tell, I enjoy myself a kit with the gimmick. Next up is the Kurenai Musha Red Warrior Amazing, which is not a mobile suit I recall even seeing during the show. Maybe it happened during the manga. This was set for Build Fighters Try, even though it was made in the same year. I'm sure this came out earlier, and this came out later. Its gimmick, and I'm not going to go through the effort of taking it apart and doing so, is that the shoulder cannon, this headpiece here, and the wheels will all come off and make its own, like, old school rolling, like, Civil War style cannon. It's pretty neat. I should have a picture of it somewhere that I might throw up. I don't know if I have a picture of it. We'll see. But this, and I forget that I'm doing a review and not telling stories, I apologize, along with the rest of the SDs from this age out, excluding the Guren Gundam here, is all kind of along the same points of articulation The legs have no knee joint, but are at least both, they're all on, polycap balls. The shoulders and the arms do move separately. Again, unlike the Guren, whose arms are, OG robots. The hair has its own articulation, but it's only on a simple ball joint like the Nobel's hair, so it will pop off easy. The wheels come off the shoulders, the arms here, and those, along with the rest of the parts, will form the cannon. There is a sword in the back here. Not only does its sheath slide into the back skirt, but its sword also slides into the back skirt. Unfortunately, these are not, metallic pieces. Those are decals, much like the Kurenai here, which just pop on and form a nice little leaf-in. Let's see if... Well, there we go. The hair is attached to the helmet. You can see this is a tinted visor. Very cool. Because, the Kawaguchi folk have to wear shades and hide their face all day long. That is your Char clone. The cannon here is not articulated, except for, being on a... The backpack plugs in and pops off with ease. Simple plug. I was trying to say that this pops off so you could mount it on whichever side you choose. The hands are set with fully articulated holding hand, or fully detailed holding hands. And I'm going to slide that right back on there now that I switch sides. Very articulate, very detailed, very neat. I like gimmicks. As soon as I flatten your feet back out, and show me right back over there. Something I didn't mention over here is, while the arms and legs are rather articulated, even the feet, have a little bend here, but that all works into the combining gimmick. The hands, I will pop this out. Pop it out, thank you. The hands here are not fully detailed hands, rather they're set into the arm piece, because as you connect the arm pieces, they become larger dragon arms. And it's much more efficient when working with such a large size gimmick. Please stand. Yes, no, I wanted to get cards. Thank you. Next up, also 2015, from Build Fighters Try, is the Star-winning Gundam. This particular box came from our other teammate, Queen of Spacer Nerd, first trip to Southeast Asia and Malaysia. As where was that sticker at? Oh, it's on the back here. I've never seen this sticker on any American kit, although, here in the States, our primary distributor is Bluefin, so when they're plastic wrapped, there's a Bluefin warning, there's a choking hazard warning. This sticker here, probably put over the other warnings in Japanese. This product is not a toy. These are not toys! Gunplas are action figures and models, but they are not toys. This is a collector's term. This is a collector's term intended for age 14 years and above. I think that's just a safety warning, because no, Gunpla is freedom, and Gunpla is for frickin' everybody. That box just ticked me off. Anyway, Star-winning Gundam. It has a gimmick. As you see, Super Fumina over here, winning Fumina, winning the poo. I like gimmicks. That box really ticked me off. I'm trying to tell jokes and that box really ticked me off. Okay, but now I'm laughing at it. So, I enjoy gimmicks. And as soon as I saw that an SD had all the limbs and extra parts and gimmicks to turn itself into a high grade, sold. I'm not going to go through the entire process of taking it apart. I will take it off stand momentarily. The head is primarily on this backpack. It's also the core lander. I think you can actually take the Burning Gundam's hand and jam that in there for the move. The high grade is pretty well articulated, given that it has to follow a specific gimmick. The sword is a combining revolving affair. It can be a gun blade. It can be a gun. It could be another bigger gun. How does this go on here? Ha! Well, the problem that I'm clearly having right now is that the shield pieces, which also double as side skirts, are where you take the extra effect parts and make a very gimpy looking beam shield. It doesn't stick in there very well. It's plastic on plastic. There's no poly cap. But as far as the rest of it goes, the articulation the legs are on ball joints. Polycat stayed in the hole. It's alright though. This is fine. And certain bits, even the feet are still on ball joints, but they fully fold back because you have to have a full transformation gimmick that goes from backpack to high grade. The arms, these parts of the legs, all form into a big backpack type. The head here, you can pop off the V-fin, just like that. Put it back on the head, just like this. I'm looking at it and I was getting lost. This is one of the few kits that I actually... This kit, I'm trying to praise this thing and it's turning into a beautiful disaster in my hands. This kit gets a 5 out of 10, how about that? The kit, it's articulated, but still a bit stiff. Because it has to work with so many multiple gimmicks and transforming mods, it can explode in your hands depending on how rough or careful you are. Still looks great on the shelf. May not look great in your kid's hands because it still has to adapt to being a high grade with sharp pointy bits. I'm going to put it back together, put it on its stand, we're going to call it a day. In semi-association with the star-winning Gundam, I've already spoken about the winning Fumina over here, its gimmick where its armor turns into an SD. It's a great gimmick. It doesn't look so bad. It's kind of like a Dolphy kind of thing, where Bandai is working on its Mecha Girls. Lastly, on my list of SDs, produced in 2016, the only part of the SDEX standard line that I have, the Shining Gundam. They have yet to produce... Actually, I believe they recently ended the EX standard line with the Banshee, perhaps? This, like many SDs, you can really build this in one sitting. I built this in 2 hours having a conversation in a hotel room during an anime convention. It was a comic convention in Houston. But I digress. I sat there, I built it, and before I realized it was done, and then I had to go through the regret of building a different kit that fell off my shelf, exploded. Do not buy the Code Geass kits. Like other SDs, like the other modern SDs, it's very well articulated. It's got full arms. They go all the way around. I'm being rough with them. Welcome to my new series of reviews. I'm not very good yet. How about you? How are y'all doing? This is all going in. Y'all are going to laugh at my terrible mistakes. Thumbs down all day. Oh, you're not professional. Gunpla's not professional. They're build on yourselves toys. Smile, build a robot, and have a great showtime. Back on point. It's the feet do all the things that feet do. The legs do all the things that legs do. What I'm actually rather surprised with is that there's, in an SD, there's a waist. It's not a... Well, these have turnable waists. I'm more familiar with the older SDs, where it's body and then waist, and they're more or less the same piece of two pieces of plastic that don't turn side to side. Good luck with that. But I think where I was trying to go with this is that there is a definite difference going in from the chest to the stomach here. And the gimmick that I think they were trying to push that I don't see anybody really doing is the flame effect here that I'm currently working with can be held by any high-grade kit, as well as taking these flame parts and attaching them to this. So you can have your high-grade holding this weird non-clear flame effect part. I think because it's an SD, that's why it's a solid piece, but given how many effect parts they gave us with the tri-burning, the build burning, the denial, I don't see too many good reasons why they could have given us a little more love with some clear parts. Well, I thank you for sitting through my first Gunpla actual attempted review. I did zero research beforehand. I just had an off-the-cuff feeling of what I wanted to say. They are SDs after all, so there's not too much you can say other than, hey, does it look cool? So, I think I'll finish this video. Not fussing around with this SD, is giving an overall final number of buy it or throw it into the void. Buy them! Into the void! It fell apart as I threw it. You saw that. Oh, that thing is so disappointing. It's got me so tired. I just wanted to throw it. Okay, for real. For as old as some of these are, they're really neat if that's your thing. If you think that this old boy looks really cool, get it. 9 times out of 10, a Musha Gundam will have some kind of gimmick. A spring-loaded weapon, some detachable armor that goes onto something else, really cool-looking stickers, being surprisingly articulated, being maybe one of your favorite Dynasty Warriors characters, or have, again, spring-loaded gimmicks, just looking generally cool. It transforms. These guys, if you think they look cool, chances are they're worth your money. Like, this was free in a grab bag. I can't see this being more than $10. I paid $11 total after tax for this. This at a convention was $11, and that's markup. I think even one moment on the box for the Shining Gundam, it was $9 back in whatever year I bought this from. Like, As for these over here, the Kurenai Musha is really cool. It's got a nice gimmick to it. It's a red Gundam. It's kind of got the hairpiece if that's kind of your thing. I certainly recommend this. I most assuredly recommend this. And here's a bit that I'm going to be doing in the future, both pros and cons. I might switch what side they're on. Pros is that for one kit, you can make either one of these three. You've got enough stickers, you've got enough parts, chest pieces, the whole shebang. Cons, you need 3 of them. You have to buy 3 SDs to get the big dragon gimmick. And that dragon, from end to end, stands as tall as most master grades. So it may or may not be worth your dollar. The SxDxG Tri-Burning, if you like the Tri-Burning, get this guy. There's nothing. It's about as articulate and as posable as the other one is, considering it's an SD. Downsides are it was being a pain in the butt to get this on here. It's kind of a lame gimmick that where other of the line would give you a weapon a high grade could hold, this is giving you some not even clear flame effect parts. That's kind of lame. I also recall that the hollow legs and this hollow hand here were a serious drawback for the SD line. That's supposed to be like a high definition SD line. Hopefully in the cross silhouette line, this kind of problems will be solved. So be on the lookout for whenever I eventually get the crossbone one, because crossbone's my shit. Buy it if you like it. The star-winning Gundam. I love gimmicks. Even though it was kind of exploding in my hand during the review, that is what I would like to call the curse of the Let's Player. When no one's looking, you're amazing. But when everyone's watching, nah, you're gonna drop the ball now and again. And I dropped the ball plenty. It's got a great gimmick. It's fairly well articulated. It can't even be that expensive at this point anymore. I would say buy this. Winning Fumina, if this kind of thing doesn't creep you out, at the very least, this has a gimmick where the armor parts turn into an SD on its own. I think that's grand. That's a reason to buy it. It's got this neat gimmick. On the other side, some people might consider it creepy. The face may not, be to your liking. That's on you. I'm not going to say buy it or don't buy it, except for that punk down in the void. If you like it, buy it. If you don't like it, let me know in the comments. Why don't you like X, Y, or Z? This has been Zappa. ZEON.